another clip. I think it's a dangerous tour that I found online and wanted to show you this and ask you about it because I've never heard this talked about. Let's check this out. Okay, so 2 questions. Do you remember this moment? And had this ever happened again after this?
Yeah. Well, okay. Answer to the first question. Yes, I remember that moment. It's, people get very excited about Michael, and sometimes they're overzealous, and 99% of the time they don't mean any harm, but you don't know. So when that gentleman jumped up on stage, Randy and Lavel were in the front, and they're the ones that grabbed him. And then I think Lavel physically pushed him back to the bodyguards because they came out right away. And Lavel grabbed him and pushed him. And then they're looking, and I'm watching, and I'm going, okay. And we were like, this is a part of the music we're in. We're cool. Let's go to the breakdown. And the energy in the breakdown was way different. It was much, much more heightened at that point. And then we got off stage, and Michael came to my dressing room he goes, who grabbed the guy? And I was like, it was Lavel and Randy. He goes, are they in here? And I was like, no, they're on the other side of the stage. And he goes, will you tell him I said thank you? And I was like, yes, I would totally tell him that you said thank you. And it was but he came to the dressing room first to say thanks, and then went to get ready. And it happened occasionally. We had instances where people could make it up on stage. On the Bad tour, we had a guy come down from somewhere from the 2nd or 3rd level of Madison Square Garden and made it onto the back of the stage. And I heard he came down kind of like Robin Hood with a belt.
Oh my gosh.
Sliding on some. I was like, it was crazy. I was like, he did what?
That's
and
commitment right there.
Way up there, like Robin Hood. And I was like, So he, I remember he got on stage because I was like, who's the guy that got on stage? And they're like, and then that's when they would explain where he came from. But I remember the bodyguards got out there. He was dancing in a suit. That's all I remember. He's an overzealous fan, just boogieing down. And Michael always was aware of his surroundings. So he would back off, he was never aggressive towards anybody. The bodyguards were the ones that would take care of it.
Yeah.
We sometimes had girls that were a little, when he does,
She's Out of My Life.
Oh,
She's Out of My Life.
Yes. When he cries.
Yes.
And they bring the girl up. Sometimes those girls would get crazy.
Eddie, can I ask you, was the crying real? Because when I was little, I was like, this looks so real. It was touching.
Honestly, I think he was giggling more than anything about what just happened. I think he was always. He also knew, it's a dramatic moment. He was gonna take. It's also breathing time for him. That
makes sense.
Yes.
Because he doesn't have to sing. He's just he's covering his face.
Yes, covering his face. But yeah, sometimes, man, because we got to watch when they would bring the girl up, and 80% of the time the girls were just shaking and crying, but nothing. And then every now and then I remember there was one girl, and when they tried to pull her away, she grabbed him, and then they're pulling her, and then the bodyguard had to put her on his shoulder, and she's kicking him, banging on his back, and he gets her backstage. He puts her down. She slapped him, and then she fainted. And I was like this, And I was like, and then he came back to check on her. He was cracking up because he was like, she just slapped me. And I was like, but then she fainted. So he came back to check on her to see if she was okay. They gave her some water. They got her back out on. But, it was you never know. I mean, she was doing so good until they tried to pull her away.
Yeah.
And we saw one. I remember there was one time where the girl, they pulled her away, but she lost, she fainted. But she started fainting towards the audience. So the guards had to catch her because she would have fallen down the stairs. Like she was like falling. And we were watching. I was like, because it was like, you could feel it. You could feel like she was going to go. So we used to stand there and try to guess how long it would be before the girl would faint. Because generally, I mean, it's the excitement,
So
it's the
wild.
heat, it's the like all the stuff. And you would sit there and sometimes like instant, sometimes like I said, later, like you'd see it happen a little later because your adrenaline kicks up so high.